We have with us Mr. Advait, Vaidya, Head Mobile Communications, LG Electronics India. Thank you so much for your time for BW Business World.
Thanks to both of you for hosting me.
COVID has become a global phenomenon. Like, it's not restricted to any specific area. It's a worldwide phenomenon, and it's from an epidemic it became a pandemic. So, how has COVID really impacted LG India's business, especially in the mobile phones division? And how have you been able to navigate out of it? If you can run us through it.
Sure. So, like you rightly said, the COVID-19 pandemic has shaken and taken the entire world by surprise. And I would say, in order to survive in this pandemic, change is the only constant. In the post-COVID world, for any individual or country or organization to survive, we have to change. As regards business continuity, initially we did face some hiccups because the things which were not normal were happening, but we were quick to adapt to that change. And in fact, since the last 2 months, what we have seen is there has been an unprecedented increase in our sales because of various factors and the consumer going online. So I would say there was a break in business continuity, but now going forward, we have seen a huge acceleration in business.
So now, during this whole pandemic situation, we've learned a couple of new words, some of which are lockdown, social distancing, and stay at home. So now, with these kind of things, we find ourselves not moving out. Also, the markets and the dealerships and the whole thing is shut down. So how is LG Mobiles actually trying to be agile in this situation? I mean, I'm talking about digital sales. There's a whole transformation towards digital, and supply chain issues are there. So how is LG Mobiles handling this situation?
Right. So the three words which you used actually necessarily means that people have to stay connected or continue with their activities in a digital way. I mean, as we speak, the three of us are in different places and sort of connecting and communicating. And the primary mode of communication, fortunately for us, has become the smartphone. And which is why we are seeing an unprecedented increase in our sales across all channels. And in order to adapt to this change, we have taken some very quick initiatives. We are trying to ensure that our products are as easily accessible and as much in close proximity to the consumer for him to be able to buy it at an arm's length away. Before this pandemic broke out, we were not having such a wide reach. But as the time is progressing, we are increasing our reach, as well as we go further into the festive season, you shall see our reach increasing. We shall shortly be announcing a series of tie-ups with various online and offline partners to further facilitate the same.
And so this Make in India is like gaining traction, especially now with Atmanirbhar program. So how is LG India trying to leverage on that? I mean, have you been able to make enough investments? If yes, I mean, when do you see some windfall gains out of it? I'm talking of the mobile scenario, in the mobile space.
We strongly stand behind our Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi's call for vocal for local or Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative. From the manufacturing perspective, we are in the process of ramping up our production capacity, and very soon we shall be making an announcement of a tie-up with a local EMS partner, India Lifted partner, under the PLI scheme. And just to give you a perspective of the magnitude, if in January we were at X in terms of our production output, we are looking at anything from 12 to 15X by Diwali time. So that is the kind of ramp up which we are planning from a manufacturing perspective. And just not manufacturing, we have a local R&D center in Bangalore for LG mobile phone business, where we are sort of ramping up resources to increasingly work on meaningful hardware as well as software innovation to tailor or cater to the needs of the Indian consumer. LG is known for its after-sales network across all products, and very soon all LG service center will also service mobile phones. So beefing up our service network, manufacturing, R&D is what we are doing to show our commitment and aggression towards this whole initiative, because we are very positive and optimistic about the future of this market from a smartphone business perspective.
Sir, can you share the investment made so far for your manufacturing facilities for mobile phones and CapEx plan for this year? If you can talk a little bit about that, because ours is a business publication now, so figures do matter.
Absolutely. So Avishek, unfortunately, because we haven't signed the final agreement, we are not in a position to give you a number right now. But given the fact that I'm talking about a 12 to 15x ramp up in our capacity, you can just take a guess at the kind of numbers which we are talking about, which are fairly significant. In the same breath, I would like to say that you shall very soon hear from us on the quantum of investment which LG would be making across all the areas, not just manufacturing. It's just a matter of weeks before we make a formal announcement. So sorry for not answering that.
Capacities also you won't be able to share. Exact capacity. That would be that you're foreseeing.
That would steal the thunder for the
boycott China. Now, do you think this is an opportunity for manufacturers like LG?
So definitely this is a window of opportunity for any manufacturer which is in the similar situation as LG is. However, before I answer that question directly, I would like to take a step back and say, when a global organization like LG Electronics is planning to make investments and go aggressive in the market, they would for sure not base their decision on a certain sentiment which may be in the short to medium term. But what I would like to say is we have been working on this for long. We have been very closely studying the Indian market, our competitors, the consumer buying behavior and psychology. And fortunately, we had planned various components which are required to successfully sort of make a business scale in India. And they are all in place. What has happened is, given the extremely positive sellout we have seen in the last couple of months, we are actually increasing our resolve and aggression in those investments. So you would see a much aggressive LG in the smartphone space in terms of business. And this window of opportunity will help us quickly scale our business. And scale is extremely important for any business to sustain growth and profitable business.
We have been able to come with value for money products which have been lapped up. So how will you change the equations apart from these sentiments? Like, what are you going to do? What kind of strategies will you be implementing? Will you be tapping the tier 2 and tier 3 cities, which is witnessing an unprecedented boom? Or will you be coming with India-specific products when it comes to smartphones and all? And if you can talk about some of the learnings from your R&D center for India.
Right. So as you rightly said, there have been a lot of learnings, and we have had to go back and dwell deeper into why we had a few years where we could not gain our rightful share like we have in other categories. And to be very candid and honest, that one of the key challenges which we found was from a product portfolio perspective. Till early 2019, we were largely reliant on our global portfolio of devices, which are planned keeping in mind the other markets where LG is a leader in the Europe, Korea, Japan, and USA, which essentially were not doing so well when they were brought as is to India, because the needs of the Indian consumer is different from what a consumer in any other country wants. And that was the biggest learning which was there, that products make brands in this industry. Which is why in the middle of last year, we launched the W Series. The W Series is a portfolio of products which was launched exclusively on Amazon initially, but they were designed, developed, researched, and made in India, keeping the Indian consumer in mind. And we definitely saw significant amount of success with that portfolio. And going forward, we shall be launching aggressive products under the W Series umbrella, which are the kind of India first devices which we have, and which we also did export to certain markets in Middle East and Africa.
Okay, you mean making it global premiere in India, made in India, right? Made for the world.
So India first, made in India, designed in India, created for Indian consumer, and from India, last year we did send it to a couple of markets in Middle East and Africa.
Phones are a very is a category where marketing is highly involved. People need to know which new product is there. There's a new product every couple of months, and people need to know. But we haven't really seen much of marketing from LG mobiles, at least, because every new phone which comes out every month, there's a huge banner and this and that, television ads, whatever. But traction on LG mobiles is very less in terms of marketing. What's your take on this? Why is this like this, and what changes do you think is needed in future?
So before I directly answer your question, Siddharth, I'd like to set a context and 2 points, that this business is all about scale. Once a brand achieves a certain level of scale, then it gets into a positive cycle. The second is, if you invest rightly in the right products, then you get good returns on your investment. Third is, for a brand to go mass media, the availability of the product also has to be justified before going into any kind of mass spending. So because till last year, I would say we didn't have a strong pan-India presence, and which is why we had restricted our spend to certain niches. There are certain niches where we are strong geographically as well as channel-wise, and that is where we used to spend. Now, given this year, the whole scenario which is changing, given the environment changes you talked about or you asked about, we are fairly confident that with the new upcoming portfolio, we will be able to scale our business significantly. And given that scale, we aggressively will invest in the right channels to ensure that there is enough awareness about the product. Though I would like to say in the same breath that doesn't mean that you will see disproportionate amount of spending, which certain other brands may be doing. We would take a slow and steady approach, because we are in this in the long term, and we just don't want to sort of spend money. And because LG as a brand is extremely popular and well known in the entire country, it's just that slight level of awareness and availability needs to be increased, which should give us exponential results as is. So as time goes by, you will see a different LG who will be more aggressive, more widely available, and more assertive. And of course, the level of awareness of the consumer will keep on increasing in that scale.
But now, today, other manufacturers have taken the flag. So now, in this year's flagship, what do we expect from LG?
So you're right. When when I talk about the core product planning philosophy of LG, audio and camera are the two key tenets which we focus upon. And essentially, we just not focus on a numeric value, but delivering the entire experience of what use that particular feature or attribute would have for the consumer. And one of the key learnings we had was while we were first to have the host of features which you're talking about, we did not create enough awareness about it. So the larger consumer did not know, and I'm happy that you are aware of it. So going forward, I would say on the camera perspective, while the still camera space is cluttered, but given the whole content creation and consumption wave which is coming up, 5G technology which is around the corner, videography, whether it is taking video, creating short video clips, or consuming content, would be extremely important. So you would see some truly innovative features in our flagship phones around videography, which would differentiate our portfolio for sure. In the same breath, going forward, you will see truly innovative features around our display and display technologies. So, unfortunately, I am not at the liberty to reveal more details about that, but these are the two key tenets where you would see innovation coming. And audio, like LG is one of the few brands which still supports a 3.5 mm audio jack, and like you rightly mentioned, the DAC or quad DAC technology. So we truly believe that for a very good content consumption experience, audio is also an essential tenet of that whole experience. And especially keeping in mind the Indian environment, which is typically noisy and crowded, having access to a wired headphone jack is extremely important to sort of give a certain level of content consumption to that consumer. So you would see us continuously innovating around all these aspects, and also sort of you will see more aggression in terms of creating the relevant awareness around these features.